Do you ever look back at your life and think, if this one thing hadn't happened or it happened in a very different way, that my entire life would be different? It's almost like a turning point, and like you can't even predict what your life now would be like if that thing had been different. For me, my turning point experience was skipping 6th grade. The way my district was set up, junior high was 7th and 8th grade, so I skipped 6th grade and I just went from 5th grade on to junior high with the 7th graders. I did this for a few reasons, but mainly they were academic. School was painfully boring for me. I was working at a pace much faster than the other kids, and I was already realizing, like, this is busy work, and I wasn't okay with that. I started doing extra projects that interested me, both in and out of school. At the time, writing was my passion, so I took a Johns Hopkins University youth course in writing. I loved it, but it was a lot of work outside of school. When I told my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Lehrman, that I was taking this course, she was really supportive. She had me basically help her teach a writing unit based on an assignment I had done as part of the course. I got to help other kids revise their stories rather than having to write a whole new one by myself. She recognized my love for learning, but my frustration with the traditional classroom setting, and she let me do kind of an independent project to replace a different project that the other kids were doing in class. Like I said, I love to write, so I did a project about careers in the writing field so I could kind of explore that further. I set up interviews with a newspaper reporter and a magazine editor, and I wrote like a paper about what they do and what their jobs were like. I was already definitely academically independent, and I needed something more school-wise. When my parents and I decided I wanted to skip 6th grade, the school resisted a bit though. The administration met with my teachers and with the tag specialist, and they finally came to the conclusion that they weren't going to encourage me to skip 6th grade, but they wouldn't stop me from doing it if that's what we decided we wanted to do. We obviously went ahead with it, but at the time it was kind of this scandal. I was supposed to keep the whole thing a secret in case something happened, and my parents didn't want me to be devastated and then have to go back on what I had said to people before about my plans for next year. But the son of the person planning the graduation ceremony confronted me about it and then told everybody about the situation. I wasn't ashamed to be skipping 6th grade, but the kids' reactions were really hard to deal with. I wasn't the smartest kid in my class, but I was mature and I was ready to move on, and I wanted more of a challenge. But because there were other kids who were smarter than I was, a lot of people thought that I didn't deserve it, or that I thought that I was better than they were, and that wasn't the case. It was a hard transition, but a lot of people were supportive, and I am extremely grateful for those people. At the end of the year, each 5th grader makes a collage frame for a 6th grader. It was like a going away present, and on the day of the exchange, my class surprised me with the fact that they had made a frame for me also. I was really happy about it, and it meant so much to me because it felt like people actually accepted my decision. I still have the frame, but it's also funny because it shows how unprepared Mrs. Lehrman was for this experience. All year she had apparently been taking pictures of the 6th graders to put on their frames at the end of the year, but she hadn't taken any pictures of me because she wasn't expecting that. So I ended up with a bunch of dorky stickers like the American flag and like dorky things that are like friendship is love and all that stuff. But I was still excited to receive it because for me it held a lot bigger significance, and I still keep it today. It's just like a remnant of that time, and it really shows people's support for me. If you have a turning point experience where you think your life would be drastically different if that hadn't happened, I want to hear about it in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow. I swear vlogging is dangerous. Okay.